there's been a lot of interest specifically on exact timeframes and where would people go, and I get that, and that understanding people's concern, was I at risk, was I exposed, underlining a lot of those questions around timeframes, which is really important and a really, really valid question. And so what I want to talk through with you all is this concept of risk and the concept of our work of our local health departments. So just remember that. What is considered at risk in terms of contact is very close household, close household contacts. They are considered high risk. People who had sustained and close proximity contact with this person, so less than 6 feet away for more than 10 to 20 minutes, that's considered moderate risk. If you are just walking through a public setting, you're walking through the airport, you're walking through the grocery store, you're walking through the library, and by this person, that is not considered risk. So it really is those moderate and high risk people that the great work of our local health departments are doing to identify and to monitor those. But just walking through RDU on that day of landing is not considered at risk.
Today, under my authority, during this state of emergency, I am directing the Maryland Insurance Commissioner to require all state health insurers to waive any cost-sharing, co-payments, co-insurance, or deductibles associated with testing for the coronavirus. We are also removing all prior authorization requirements by any health carrier for COVID-19 testing that are related to medical necessity. It is critical that anyone who is experiencing symptoms and meets the criteria for testing is able to do so right away without having any concerns whatsoever about the costs associated with it. Now I've got some good news to report. We've received today the results.
Listen to what has already been said, and I would ask you to think of it in two ways. There's some things that we can do, and that we are doing those things, and we're doing them quite diligently and spending a lot of hours in anticipation, but there are also things that the public can do. And I want to remind you, I've said this a couple of times, but when we look at the other epidemics that we've had in the last couple of decades, they have ultimately been stopped because of a great coordination between the government and the people in the populace, and the people followed the advice, and that's how SARS and MERS and even Ebola, that's how they were stopped. And so as a community, not just the government, but as a community, a whole community, we are incredibly powerful and incredibly capable of having a huge positive impact on what faces us from this virus. And so with that, I'd say thank you.
Yes.